Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Time Traveler's Handbook. In this episode, we are talking about Season 8, Episode 11 of Doctor Who, titled Dark Water. Spoilers ahead. In this two-part finale of Season 8, the Doctor and Clara come head-to-head with Missy, the newest incarnation of the Master, who has found a way to harvest the souls of the dead and implant them into new Cyberman bodies. These episodes are almost entirely devoid of time travel content, because it's mostly just the traditional Cyberman story, with the Master being revealed to be behind it. The thing that I wanted to talk about the most is the Nethersphere, the place where Missy has collected recently deceased people's consciousnesses. This is essentially just cloud storage, and these consciousnesses are just lines of code. But in essence, you can get a feeling that these people are still alive and conscious in this cloud. The interesting time travel perspective on this is that this is something that is teased for a large portion of Season 8, and many characters that die end up going there, thinking that it's heaven or the promised land or something like that. The first example of this was in the first episode, Deep Breath, where you see an android man ends up going there. This is interesting because this happened in Victorian London, which means it most likely took place sometime in the 1800s. While it's not entirely clear how long the Nethersphere has been collecting souls, it seems a bit far-fetched to assume that it has been simply active since then and collecting for that many years. Or at least I would like to think so that there's something interesting to talk about here. I really like the concept that souls are being extracted upon death throughout all time. And this corresponds to the ebbs and flows of the time traveler's travels. You can think of it as following the signature of a TARDIS moving through the time vortex. If you're able to follow that, then wherever you end up, you can end up taking in whatever souls you can from the surrounding temporal area as people die there. This makes it so you're not collecting from all of the universe through all time, because essentially when you do that, you are collecting every single person that died at all times. And that doesn't really seem like a feasible thing, but to be able to extract them from explicit places along the timeline of a time traveler makes a lot more sense. Another way to think about it is that the Nethersphere is most likely functioning as a pocket dimension. This means that time doesn't interact with it in the same way that everything else in the universe does. So you can end up having a place that collects people out of order throughout time whenever they happen to die. This most likely operates in the same way as the method I just described, where it's following a time traveler's travels in order to determine who to grab. In any case, I think that the interaction of pulling people out of time and putting them in a centralized cloud storage area is a pretty interesting way of thinking about the afterlife from a time travel perspective. And this episode made me think a bit more about this than I otherwise would have, and I really enjoyed it for that. That's going to be it for our discussion on the episodes from Season 8. These were the most critical parts of Season 8 that I wanted to talk about, and next time we will continue on to Season 9 with an episode primarily about the bootstrap paradox. As always, thank you for listening.